Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Washing Dishes. Today we're starting our series on mother sauces. We're going to start with tomato sauce and work our way through the rest of them over the next few weeks. Stick around, enjoy, and learn how to make a really nice, beautiful tomato sauce that has infinite modifications and applications in the kitchen. When it comes to Italian tomato sauce, there's a lot of variation and a lot of very specific things that go into very specific sauces. One of the things about mother sauces is that they're a base from which you can build a variety of other sauces that are called either daughter sauces or child sauces or however you want to say it. So we're going to start with that basic tomato sauce. I'm going to use a mirepoix, some garlic, some various tomato products, some basil, and some thyme. And super traditional French way, we would use some pork in this, but I'm going to make a vegan version. If you wanted to use pork, you could just add some bacon or some pancetta or some fat back and render the fat out of it, but we're going to skip that today. If you have beautiful in-season fresh tomatoes, definitely go ahead and use those. It's the middle of October, so we do have tomatoes at the farmer's market, but they're good but not great. So I went ahead and got some canned San Marzano tomatoes. These will be wonderful. I have diced and crushed, which will get us a little bit of variety in texture. And I'm going to use some tomato paste. I like the tube. I think I've mentioned this before. I like the tube because you can seal it back up at the end. We're only going to use about half of this, and I can pop it in the fridge, and it's still fine next week when I make more tomato sauce or what have you. So I'm going to go ahead and set these aside for a minute, and we'll deal with the veggies next.
And for the veggies, we're going to use a mirepoix, as I mentioned, 2 carrots, a couple sticks of celery, and a large white onion. We're just going to peel the carrots, grate those, grate the celery, and then small dice the onion, get it all into a bowl, a few cloves of shredded garlic, and we're good to go. We're going to start this in a 2-quart pot with about 3 ounces of oil. We want a fair amount of oil because we want a fair amount of oil in our final sauce, but also because we've got a lot of veggies and we want to make sure they all get coated and cooked evenly. We're going to get that over medium-high heat to start, and then once the veggies get going, we'll turn it down to medium-low and let them sweat for a little bit, just to release all of their moisture. And we're not really looking for browning here. We just want to get the veggies kind of to release their moisture, add their flavor, and start making the sauce really delicious. And now we've reached the first of a couple of just let it cook and stir it occasionally sections of the recipe. We're just going to let this go, stir it around, scrape down the sides, stir it around. Every, 3 to 5 minutes just to make sure nothing's burning and nothing's sticking. Keep the heat medium-low. Make sure you've got some salt and pepper in there for seasoning, but there's not a whole lot to do except keep an eye on it for right now. Once the veggies have reached a nice soft consistency, you can go ahead and move on to the next section, which is to make a little space in the middle of the pan. You'll see the oil start to come back in, and then we're going to add 2.5, somewhere between 2 and 3 ounces of tomato paste. We're just going to let that fry in the oil for a sec, and then we're going to get it all mixed in and cook it a little bit longer. Oh, I almost forgot. I want to add some dried oregano. This is kind of a personal preference. I just really like the way it tastes, and I am going to be using this for pasta. So, just about a tablespoon. Grind it up in your hands, add it in, let it go. And then realize that you forgot to record the part where you poured the cans of tomato into the tomato sauce. Oopsies. But yeah, it's just 2 cans. I'll have the quantity and measurements in the description. And this is a mixture of just the basil and thyme that I'm stirring in, and that's just going to sit. And then this is just going to go over super low heat, like as low as your stove will stay going, for as long as you can keep it going. And just give it a stir every, like I said, 10, 15, 20 minutes. You just don't want anything to stick on the bottom and burn. That would ruin the entire sauce. So, watch an episode of some half-hour show, give it a stir. Watch an episode of an hour show, pause it in the middle, give it a stir. It's nice and easy. It's something you can just have going on in the background as you go about your day or evening, and you'll end up with some beautiful, beautiful, delicious sauce with not a whole lot of active effort. There we go. And once it's gone for an hour or 2 or 3, the more the better. Go ahead and fish out the herbs. Give those a toss because they've done all they're going to do. And then we'll go ahead and get this off the stove onto the work table, and we'll talk about what we're going to do from here. I went ahead and muted this because you all don't need to listen to the immersion blender, but we're just going to immersion blend this until it's as smooth as we want. I happen to want it pretty smooth. If you don't want it smooth, you can just leave it chunky like it was in the last clip. You can leave it nice and rustic and chunky. That's fine. It's totally up to you. But I'm storing this, and I would like it to be a little more smooth and a little more refined, so to speak.
We've got our sauce, and I'm going to go ahead and transfer it into a different container so it'll cool down a little quicker. The great thing about making a bunch of tomato sauce is that it freezes very, very well with almost no loss of quality. Sorry. You can freeze it for 6 months or so, and it'll be just as good as it is today. Some of this is going to go on dinner tonight, of course, but most of this is going to get fridged, freezered, and friended, because I don't need this much tomato sauce in my house for just me. But yeah, so I'm going to let that cool down, use some of it for dinner, give some of it away to friends. One of the great things about making large batches of everything is that you can share it with friends. Food is about people and community and that kind of stuff. But we don't need to get into that now. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed learning about tomato sauce and the first of our mother sauces. As we continue from here, the techniques are going to get a little bit more complicated, but they're useful information, and I promise you they're not as hard as you might think they are. Anyways, thanks for watching. Stick around till the end for the socials and some recommendations, and I'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for staying till the end. I really appreciate it. If you like that, check out a couple of these other videos. They're probably up your alley too. I have a Twitch channel at twitch.tv/washinthewind. I'm on Twitter at washinthewind, and I'm on Instagram at washinthewind, but without the E. Mostly because of the character limit. If you'd like to show some support, a Twitch sub or a Patreon subscription would be wonderful. But what helps the most is a like, a subscribe here, and sharing the video with your friends. I hope you've had a wonderful time enjoying the video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your time zone. Thanks very much for watching.